Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be smoking out of a 45-year-old unrestored briar pipe from the 1970s. In specific today, I'm going to be smoking out of my new used Kaywoodie Campus Billiard briar pipe for the first time. And from what I can tell, at least, this pipe right here was made in the 1970s, which means that it is 45 years old at a minimum, if not older. This pipe right here is just about double my age, if not over double my age, which is pretty wild if I do say so myself. And what's even more wild is the price that was paid for this pipe right here. This pipe was obtained at a garage sale near me thanks to a friend of mine for $5. And for the condition this pipe is in, I feel like that was a pretty good deal. Since having gotten my hands on this pipe, I've gone ahead and reamed the pipe just a little bit more so than not, and I went ahead and disinfected and thoroughly cleaned the pipe with Everclear as well. And so now, besides the misaligned stem, this pipe should be all ready to smoke out of for the first time. But is it actually going to smoke well? Well, I don't know, but that's exactly why I'm making this video today, to find out just how good or just how bad this Kaywoodie Campus pipe right here actually smokes. Although I will acknowledge, I do think that this pipe is going to smoke a little bit better than not, as I have heard really good things about the Kaywoodie Campus line of pipes. From what I've heard, the Kaywoodie Campus line of pipes was first introduced in the 1960s as a line of Kaywoodie pipes that were smaller than not and were meant for shorter smokes than not. And review-wise, these pipes get, well, pretty good ratings online, frankly put, and they're known as being pretty good smokers and pretty cheap smokers as well, as you can get them on the secondhand market for under $20 a lot of times. As such, due to all of the good things I've heard about these pipes online, I certainly am expecting a much better smoke than not in today's video, and I certainly do hope for a much better smoke than not, as well as I could definitely go for a good smoke right now, frankly put. But I do suppose I should probably go ahead and actually now cover the look of the pipe itself. Now, shouldn't I? After that, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the tobacco I'm actually going to be smoking in today's video, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and get some of that tobacco all loaded up into my pipe, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and actually get to smoking out of my 45-year-old unrestored briar pipe from the 1970s for the first time. But first off, as said, I want to go ahead and just show you guys the look of this pipe itself. And in my personal opinion, this pipe just looks so good, mainly due to the grain and the stain of this pipe. I think the grain is just gorgeous. I think it just looks so good. There's so much depth to the grain, and for a pipe that in the 1970s would have been a drugstore pipe, I think that this just looks so dang good. I really do think it looks just absolutely gorgeous. And we can see on the side of the pipe right here, I'm not sure if it's actually showing up on camera, but right about here where my finger is tapping, it just says Kaywoodie Campus right there, just printed into, well, the side of the pipe, or stamped into the side of the pipe, I do suppose is really the right way of putting it. We can then see that there is a little bit of metal right there, and then it goes to a black plastic stem right here. I initially thought that this stem was vulcanite, but no, it is actually plastic. And on the black stem, we can see there is a little bit of a clover right there. And that is the sort of symbol that Kaywoodie uses to symbolize which pipes are theirs and what not. And we can see that this pipe is most certainly a billiard as well. It's got a much longer stem than not, with a pretty short shank. And as a whole, I really do think this pipe just looks so good. This is not a filtered pipe or anything like that kind of thing. And due to that, this pipe looks a lot more slender and a lot more elegant than not. And honestly, when you're just looking at it in hand, it really does look a lot bigger than it actually is, just because of how short, just because of how thin and slender the stem and tenon are when compared to the bowl itself. But when compared to a larger, more medium-sized pipe, we can see that this pipe it really is just tiny, frankly put. The Kaywoodie Campus pipe, it's meant for short smokes, and it is a much smaller pipe than not. And when compared to like my Savinelli Bing's favorite that I have right here, this pipe is tiny, frankly put. It really does look like the bowl of this pipe could almost fit in the bowl of my Savinelli Bing's favorite. It really is just so small when compared to this pipe right here, frankly put. I really do think this pipe just looks so good, and frankly put, I'm a huge fan of how this pipe looks, and I really do like the grain as well, and I think it's just a gorgeous pipe, frankly, but I really do think it just looks so dang good, and that is another reason why I like this pipe so much. I do suppose I haven't actually covered why I actually like this pipe so much. One of the reasons why I like this pipe so much, even though I haven't smoked out of it yet, is just simply because I really like how it looks. I also really like the fact that it's got a smaller bowl than nut. I've been wanting a pipe with a smaller bowl than nut for a little while now, and so when I was lucky enough to get my hands on this pipe right here, I was ecstatic, to say the least. Those are really the two main reasons why I like this pipe, frankly put, even without having ever smoked out of it. And I do suppose there's two more reasons why I hope this pipe smokes a little bit better than not. But, you know, to say the least, I really do like how this pipe looks, and I really do think the grain just looks fantastic. Let's just do some up-close shots of the grain just real quick. Oh, man, it just looks so good. And we can see the inside of the bowl. Let me get my flashlight out real quick so I can actually show y'all, like, that the inside of the bowl is all good and everything like that kind of thing. It's a little bit black, don't get me wrong, but let's see, just like that kind of thing. It's a little bit black, don't get me wrong, but it's been thoroughly reamed. It's all good to smoke out of, from what I can tell at least, although definitely not restored by any means. But, you know, this pipe, it just looks, the grain just looks so dang good. I really do like it. Now, there are some bite marks on the stem from the previous owner, I do assume, but those bite marks, none of them are too deep. He hasn't bitten through the stem or anything like that, so should be all good. And I do suppose there's really only one more thing for me to cover about the look of this pipe, and that's just to get the stem off and just show y'all that this pipe does indeed have a stinger right here. A stinger is like an old type of sort of, I think it's meant to be a type of moisture control technology. You don't really see stingers on pipes anymore today. It was kind of a gimmick, frankly put, but apparently this pipe does smoke pretty well even with the stinger, although some people, when they get the Kaywoodie Campus pipes, they do decide to hack the stinger all off. But this pipe right here is still circumcised. It does still have the stinger on. And just taking a look at the inside of that, we can see that this pipe is threaded, and due to the fact that at some point this pipe was heated up and the glue inside the stem itself just loosened up just a little bit due to the heat, it got overclocked when the previous owner took the stem off and then put it back on just a little bit too tightly. Not a super big deal, should still smoke just fine, but that is one bad thing about this pipe, is that the stem is a little bit more overclocked than not. I'm gonna look into how to fix that in the future. But that's pretty much all I wanted to cover about the look of the pipe itself and everything like that kind of thing. Now, I do suppose, without further ado, it is time for me to go ahead and cover what tobacco I'm gonna actually be smoking in today's video. So what tobacco am I gonna be smoking? Well, today I'm thinking I'm gonna smoke some Capstan Blue Straight Virginia Flake Cut pipe tobacco. This tobacco was J.R.R. Tolkien's favorite pipe tobacco, and it is a good smoke, to say the least. I really enjoy this pipe tobacco. I've been smoking it a lot lately, and since I want this pipe right here to be a Virginia Perique only pipe, I'm thinking there's no better way to start off than with a legendary tobacco like Capstan Blue. Without further ado, I do suppose I should probably go ahead and get my little bit of a, well, first off, I'm gonna go and get a little bit of ant off my cooler next to me, because there's a little bit of an ant on my cooler. And now I'm gonna go ahead and get my little bit of a rolling tray out of my backpack, which I forgot to do at the beginning of this video. So now that I've got my little bit of an Odigiri rolling tray all out of my backpack, let's go ahead and now get the lid of my mason jar that holds my Capstan Blue all opened up. And let's go ahead and just get a flake out. I don't think I'm gonna need an entire flake, frankly put. I think I'm honestly probably just gonna need half of this, as the Kaywoodie Campus Billiard Briar pipe from the 1970s, the 45-year-old Briar pipe that I'm gonna be smoking in today's video, is a little bit smaller than not, but I'm just gonna grab a whole flake out nonetheless, and I'm gonna go ahead and just rub this flake out pretty much. Haha, rub it out, you know what I'm saying, rub it out. But but don't take that clip out of context. But I'm just gonna go ahead and rub out the flake, just get it all into strands and whatnot, just real quick. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and just start going like that as well, just making sure that it's all broken up into almost ribbon cut format. Ribbon cut is like the standard easy to smoke format of pipe tobacco. Flakes, you can't smoke them really on their own unless you want to fold and stuff it into a pipe. I don't know how to do that though. I've never done that before. I do need to do that in the future. But today I'm just going to be breaking it up. I'm just going to be rubbing out the flake and just trying to make it into almost a ribbon cut. That is my plan at least, and I'm going to be trying to make sure these strands are a little bit smaller than not, just simply because the bowl of the pipe is a little bit smaller than not as well. So I'm just going to be ripping them apart just a little bit just to try to get it all good and whatnot. I know y'all can't see what I'm doing right now, but I am doing something right now. I'm just kind of breaking the pipe up and just kind of, or breaking the pipe tobacco up and whatnot. Now I'm just kind of going like that kind of thing and just kind of squeezing it and rolling it in my fingers, just trying to break it up and get it a little bit more malleable to easily be able to put it in my pipe and whatnot, or for it to go into my pipe a little bit more easy than not. I do suppose really the right way of putting it. I probably could have just used the leftover pipe tobacco in the bottom of my mason jar for this, in all honesty, but just had to grab a whole flake out just for the flexing. I'm saying had to do it, and just because this experience is well, it's going to be a first smoke out of this pipe, so I got to make sure I treat it right my first ever time, right? That's what I'm thinking at least. Well, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and now start getting the tobacco on my rolling tray all into my pipe, and I'm just going to be just kind of gravity filling it just like that. Nothing too in depth or anything, just going to be gravity filling it, and I'm just going to be tamping it very lightly once I need to. There's one piece that's not broken up. I'm going to go and break that piece up real quick. Just like that, just kind of roll it just a little bit as well. I love my flake cut pipe tobacco, but it does take a little bit of preparation, frankly put, so I'm just gonna go put a little bit more into there. This piece is not super broken up. Just go ahead and break up that piece just a little bit now, just like that. Go and throw it in now, should be all good. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just keep filling it up, and I'm just gonna fill it all the way up to the rim. And then after that, I'm just gonna tamp it down just a little bit and maybe put just a little bit more in as well. And I'm just gonna kind of tamp it on my hand just like that, just to make sure it's all good and whatnot. I think I can fit a little bit more, and honestly this might take almost the whole flake. Not quite the whole flake, but I think it might take almost the whole flake, which is unexpected to say the least. Maybe this bowl is actually a little bit bigger than I was thinking, frankly put. But I filled it up pretty much all the way to the rim. I'm going to go ahead and just tamp it down very lightly now, just like that. Just tamped it down very lightly, and it's now a little bit past the rim. I am now going to go ahead and take the rest of the tobacco. I'm gonna go and put my pipe down real quick because I'm actually gonna need to break up some more tobacco. So I'm gonna go and just take the rest of my tobacco. I'm gonna break it up just a little bit more than it was already. There's one piece that really does not want to break up. I'm just gonna throw that back in my mason jar, and I'm just gonna kind of get all that together now. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw the rest of this in my pipe, and hopefully that fills it up the rest of the way. I'm thinking it might. This pipe might actually fit. I believe that was like pretty much an entire flake. Might have been more like 75% of a flake, but I think that was like most of a flake of Capstan Blue, which is surprising. I honestly was not expecting this much tobacco to fit in it. That is a little bit wild. Maybe this pipe is actually a little bit bigger. It might be due to the fact that the bowl rim is so thin. It's a very thin bowl, whereas with like this pipe, it looks a little bit bigger than it really is, just because the wall of the pipe is so thick. Interesting. Well, I'm just gonna go and fill it up just a little bit more, just like that. And now I'm gonna go and just tamp it down again. Just a little bit heavier this time, and I'm thinking that is pretty much all filled up. Once I actually get to smoking and whatnot, the tobacco is gonna expand just a little bit, so I'm thinking that's all I want to put in the pipe for this moment in time. I'm gonna go ahead and just put that down, make sure it doesn't fall over, because this pipe is definitely not a sitter. It does not sit up on its own, unlike some of the other pipes that I currently own. I'm gonna go ahead and just put the lid back on the Capstan Blue, which smells fantastic, by the way. Getting a really nice sort of, I'd have to say, like sweet, citrusy, almost honey-like scent from the tobacco. It smells great. Put my rolling tray back in my backpack. Don't need it no more. Go and zip that all up. And now I'm gonna go and take a little bit of a sip of water. And now that I have gone ahead and done that, I do think it is time for me to go ahead and get my lighter out of my pocket, my Arizona branded pink Bic lighter. And I do think, without further ado, it is probably time for me to go ahead and actually get this pipe right here, all it up. And I do think it is time for me to go ahead and smoke out of my 45-year-old unrestored Kaywoodie Campus Billiard Briar pipe from the 1970s. Is this pipe gonna smoke well or is it not? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out. Excuse me. Glad I just burped right then instead of while I'm trying to do my light up it, as all the tobacco would have flown out and everything like that kind of thing. But without further ado, let's go ahead and actually just, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just clench it just a little bit, just like this. And now I'm gonna go ahead and get this pipe all lit up. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying. Just doing a little bit of a starter light right off the bat. The taste is really nice. It's definitely a little bit harsher than normal. I normally use filtered pipes. This pipe does not have a filter, so definitely a little bit harsher than not in the back of my throat, but right off the bat, fantastic taste if I do say so myself. That was just a little bit of a starter light. Let's go ahead and do another one real quick. I am getting a little bit of a sort of pull-through noise from the pipe itself. I think I might have not tamped the tobacco down as much as I should have. I'll tamp it down just a little bit more before I go ahead and do my official light though, so hopefully that noise goes away. Either way, the noise doesn't affect my smoke sesh besides just being a noise, so hopefully it's not too big of a deal by any means, even if it does continue. Right off the bat though, this pipe is smoking. I don't know if it's smoking well though. I'll have to find that out as I continue smoking. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and just tamp this down just a little bit more so than not. And right off the bat, the pipe is actually not getting super hot or anything like that, which is pretty nice. I'm just gonna go ahead and just tamp this down just a little bit harder than not now. And there we go, all tamped down. I think I'm all ready for my official light now. So let's go ahead and, well, officially get this pipe all lit up. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying. Or actually, since I have to hold this pipe at an angle, switch my lighter to my other hand. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying. Ooh, definitely a little bit rougher than I'm used to just because there's no filter. But right off the bat, it is smoking pretty good. Right off the bat, it's definitely smoking a little bit better than not. Will it continue smoking better than not? And towards the end of the smoke, am I gonna get any sort of gurgling? Is the pipe actually gonna stay lit well? I don't know. It's definitely a little bit awkward right now, just simply because it's at an angle. Definitely wanna see if I can get that fixed as soon as possible. But right off the bat, the taste of the capstan blue is fantastic. I'm definitely getting some of a sort of other taste in there as well. And I think that's probably whatever was smoked in the pipe previously by the previous owner, probably 30 years ago now or something like that kind of thing. In the box that this pipe came in, there were a bunch of pipe cleaners and like Medico and Dr. Grabo filters as well. All of them looked like they were from the 1970s, hence why I think this pipe was from the 1970s. So it's very possible the last time this pipe was smoked was in the 1970s or early 1980s. Was in the early 1970s or was in the 1970s or early 1980s. Right off the bat though, this pipe is staying lit pretty well. I'm honestly surprised. with my first ever time smoking out of pipes, sometimes I do struggle to keep the tobacco lit just because I'm not used to how that pipe smokes. But this pipe is doing a good job of keeping the tobacco lit, probably because it's a smaller bowl than not. So there's just less area for the heat to go. There's less area for the flame to go. That might be why, in all honesty. Not exactly sure if it actually works like that, but that's my best guess. There we go. It was kind of dying just for a moment there, but brought it back to life. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. Right off the bat, I'm already loving this pipe. I love how it smokes right off the bat. This is, I can't say anything for sure right now, but I want to say this is a good smoking pipe. I do want to say it. I'm liking it. It's smoking well so far. No gurgling so far. Very smooth as well. I don't know if the stinger is playing any part in that, but I'm loving it, frankly put. It's doing a good job, and get no dawdle or pull through or anything like that kind of thing as well. And the bowl itself, it is heating up, but it's not heating up to any extreme degree by any means. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad right off the bat. I'm definitely starting to feel a little bit of a buzz right off the bat as well. I'm definitely, at the beginning of the smoke, it was either whatever the previous owner smoked out of it, or it was just all the grime that got in the pipe over, well, the last 45 years possibly that I tasted. I did clean the inside of the bowl with a little bit of Everclear as well and whatnot kind of thing, but I'm sure I didn't get everything. But and it has gone out. That's no biggie. That happens pretty normally for me. I'm not an expert pipe smoker by any means, especially when it comes to flake cut pipe tobacco. But since this has gone out, it does give me a good opportunity to talk about how the pipe has been so far. So far, the bowl not heating up too much. So far, no gurgling. So far, when I'm lighting up, the smoke is a little bit rougher than not, but when I'm just smoking, it really just comes off pretty much like normal, frankly put. Definitely just due to the lack of the filter, though, I am getting like kind of one spot of tongue bite on my tongue, and I'm also getting a little bit of a taste of something else in there along with the Capstan Blue pipe tobacco. The Capstan Blue pipe tobacco out of this pipe, I know exactly what it tastes like and whatnot kind of thing. Both the Savinelli Bing's favorite that I have with me today and this pipe, they're both Briar pipes, so there's going to be no difference in the taste of the wood or anything like that kind of thing that I might be getting. But I think just due to the fact that this pipe has been used previously by another person who was probably not smoking Capstan Blue out of it, and due to the fact that this pipe was sitting in a box in a garage more than likely for a very long time, I do think there's a little bit of sort of an either ghosting from the previous tobacco that the person smoked out of this pipe, or there is a little bit of ghosting from just whatever grime or dust or whatever kind of piled up in the pipe over time. Either way, it's not disrupting my experience by any means. I'm still able to taste the Capstan Blue much better than not, and the taste is still coming through perfectly fine, but there is a little bit of a different taste in there that is not normal. I'm thinking after this bowl, maybe after another 2 or 3 bowls, that taste should go away pretty much completely. I highly doubt that taste will stick around, but that is something to mention that I am having in this experience, which is my first ever experience smoking out of this pipe right here. So it's something worth mentioning. You know, as a whole, it's definitely smoking a little bit better than not so far. Let's go and get this lit up once again, though. Yeah, due to it being at an angle, though, it is a little bit harder than not to light. but it ain't no biggie. It's still perfectly smokable. Getting very nice, dense, deep clouds as well. I can definitely tell that the stinger is not having any effect on the airflow. And the airflow, both due to the packing of the tobacco and due to the smaller 10 in the nut, which I think is like a 3mm drilled. Probably that's the standard for most unfiltered pipes is 3mm. But, you know, as a whole, yeah, it's smoking well. It's smoking well. Definitely a little bit different than most of the pipes I normally smoke out of, just because it's an unfiltered pipe versus what I normally smoke out of, which is filtered pipes. But still, it's a lot better than not. And it has gone out again. I think what I might do with the next light up is I might just light it up and just puff away for a couple minutes and see if anything happens, instead of talking every couple seconds and allowing the pipe to go out. I'm a lot better at keeping pipes lit when I'm not talking, so I might try that for the next couple minutes, and I think that's probably what I'm gonna do. You know, besides the fact that kind of gotta hold it at an angle and whatnot, it's smoking a lot better than not. And I think while I'm kind of just puffing away and not talking, I think I'm gonna try to grab myself a little bit of a screenshot as well. So let's go and get this all lit up once again, y'all. Ooh, ooh. A little bit of roughness there. Can't smoke this pipe quite as fast as my Savinelli by any means. Also, just because of how short this pipe is, the smoke is just a little bit rougher and a little bit more tongue bitey. The taste I'm getting, though, I said I wasn't going to talk, but I'm going to talk anyway. The taste I'm getting, though, is really nice. So I've got that sort of ghosting going on in there, which is, I think it's coming off more like a burley tobacco. There's like a little bit of like chocolate in there kind of thing, I want to say. So I want to say whatever was smoked in here previously was probably a predominantly burley tobacco, probably an old burley codger blend like Prince Albert, Carter Hall, or maybe Velvet or something like that kind of thing, or Sir Walter Raleigh, something like that. So I'm getting a little bit of chocolate in there kind of thing. So I think one of those old codger blends was probably the blend smoked of this pipe in the past. But the main taste I'm really getting is really from the Capstan Blue. And the taste is fantastic. It's that of a very nice, sort of almost honey-like sweet, citrusy, fruity, lemony, slightly tangy, sour taste with a little bit of a bready undertone to it. As a whole, tastes really dang good. Tastes really dang good, if I do say so myself. I love the taste of Capstan Blue, and out of this pipe, it tastes fantastic as well. And due to the size of this bowl, I've heard smaller and taller bowls than nut work really well for Virginias. I'm thinking that this is going to be a good pipe to smoke Virginias out of. And when I say Virginias, I mean Virginia blend tobaccos, or straight Virginia or Virginia Perique tobaccos. So just tobaccos that have a predominantly Virginia tobacco blend, which is a specific type of tobacco. This is smoking good. It is. And I'm starting to feel a little bit of a buzz as well. Ooh, no complaints on my behalf. Now that the pipe is heated up, let's see if I can overclock it a little bit. Nah. I might have actually just made it worse. I tried using a lighter on the stinger to try to heat it up and whatnot. That didn't work. It just started smelling really funky, and I was like, okay, never mind. My entire room now smells horrible. It smells like burning metal. But I've heard other people say that they just heated up the stem with like a hair dryer. Maybe I'll try that in the future. I'm not exactly sure. I might ask one of my local pipe shops and see what they recommend. Because one of my local pipe shops sells estate pipes as well, and they do pipe restoration in-house. At least, I don't know if they do pipe restoration for people in general, but they do pipe restoration at least for the estate pipes they sell. So I figure if anybody's going to know what I need to do with this pipe, it should be them. It is a beautiful day out here today, let me tell you all what though. It was very warm earlier, but it's now probably mid-80s. It's not too bad. Sitting in the shade, it's a good time, frankly put. A little bit of a breeze, but not too heavy of a breeze to make it a pain to smoke pipe. Sitting next to a field, got a beautiful view. There's some people doing yoga up there, over there. Some people grabbing photos, somebody walking their dog. There's a little bit of a house right here, my car right next to me. Ooh, good times, good weather, good times, good scenery, loving it. Now, interestingly enough, so Kaywoodie is generally considered to be an old brand of pipes that were sold at like drugstores and stuff like that. And I thought Kaywoodie had disappeared off the map. I didn't think Kaywoodie existed anymore until a week or two ago when I was doing research about this pipe and stuff like that. And I found out that Kaywoodie as a pipe manufacturer does still actually exist. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. They're much smaller than they used to be, I do imagine. But Kaywoodie as a manufacturer does still exist, which is very cool if I do say so myself. I think I'm gonna go and try to grab myself a little bit of a screenshot real quick. I don't know how that was as a screenshot. Hopefully it was a little bit better than not, though. I think I might try to grab another. There's some squirrels in the trees up there making lots of noise. Wow, it is a little bit bright out here though, I ain't gonna lie. Put my sunglasses back on. Hopefully those two little bits will work as screenshots. I hope at least. Might try to grab some more in just a minute actually, because I'm afraid they won't. Gotta make sure I have a good thumbnail for the video. Had to get the YouTube face going for the thumbnail, you know what I'm saying? Had to do it to him. You know, the YouTube face, YouTubers all make the same face for a reason. It gets views, you know what I'm saying? Alrighty, so I just had some technical difficulties. For some reason, my phone that I record my videos with just decided to stop filming the video. It decided to stop recording. I noticed immediately, so it's not like we lost anything or anything like that kind of thing, but for some reason it did stop recording. Maybe I ran out of space or something like that kind of thing. Not sure exactly what happened, but I did, just in case, go ahead and delete some stuff off my phone. So hopefully I have enough space for the rest of the video. We will find out. I'm not exactly sure what happened, frankly put. A little bit more odd than not, it just completely cut off. Thankfully though, as said, we didn't miss anything. As soon as my phone went ahead and cut off, I went ahead and checked that the video was there. It was not. I went ahead and restarted my phone. The video showed up. All good. While that was happening though, I was not taking any puffs off my pipe or anything like that kind of thing, so this might need to be relit. It's been probably about 2.5 minutes since the last time I took a hit. Is this still gonna be lit? Let's try it. Since I last took a hit, is this still gonna be lit? Let's find out. No surprise that it is not. It has been a bit too long. I will admit. One other thing I am kind of feeling like I'm noticing is that I feel like I'm noticing a little bit of a metallic taste from, especially when I'm not actually getting any smoke, when I'm just kind of puffing and it's just a dry puff on the, well, on the pipe that is currently not lit. I'm getting a little bit of a metallic taste. Excuse me. And I feel like that might be from the stinger / from the metal sort of insert right here kind of thing. I'm not exactly sure. I am getting a little bit of metallic taste though, but not too big of a deal by any means. It's not affecting the taste of the tobacco. It's really only apparent when, well, there is really no taste of the tobacco is not lit. But it is one other thing that is notable to mention about the smoking experience with this pipe is that I am, for some reason, getting a little bit of a taste of metal. For some reason, I'm not exactly sure why. Well, let's go ahead and get this all lit up once again, though. I think we are about probably halfway through the smoke sesh. Having a pretty good long smoke sesh today. Honestly, since this tobacco is flake cut, it does burn a little bit longer than not. And honestly, it's burning a little bit longer than I thought it was going to burn out of this pipe. I thought I was really only going to get like a solid, like probably 30-minute smoke sesh. Well, the video cut off at around about the 35-minute mark. I'd been smoking for around about, trying to think, I'd been smoking for around about probably 20 minutes at that point. So, or actually probably only about 15 minutes, I guess. 15, 20 minutes, something like that kind of thing. So yeah, maybe this will still be a 30-minute smoking. I'm not a smoking pipe. I'm not exactly sure. Let's go and get it lit up once again though, and let's go and get back to smoking some Capstan Blue out of my 45-year-old Kaywoodie Campus Billiard Briar pipe from the 1970s, y'all. And just like that, we are back in action. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. Had to grab some more thumbnails, had to do it to them. You know, as a whole though, you know, this is smoking well. This pipe is smoking good so far. I see why people say the Kaywoodie Campus pipes are good smokers, because like this one's a good smoker as well, frankly put. As long as this good smoke continues, I can see myself using this pipe a lot in the future, let me tell y'all what. And even with this being at an angle, which does make it a little bit harder to smoke than not, to an extent, but not really. Only really harder to light up than not. But even with smoking this pipe at an angle and everything like that kind of thing, it's smoking great. It's smoking great, frankly put. Yeah, when it comes to pipes, I can say for sure, age does not matter. Age does not matter, frankly put. When it comes to pipes, at least. Do not take that clip out of context. I just realized that would be not very good if you guys took that clip out of context, actually. Yeah, no. I can say for sure, old pipes smoke just as good as new pipes, because this pipe is smoking just as good as some of the new pipes I have, if not a little bit better, frankly, but this pipe's smoking really good. Like, I've got a Dr. Grabo at home. I enjoy smoking out of it every once in a while, but it's developed a little bit of a whistle that no amount of cleaning has been able to get rid of for whatever reason. So I gotta figure out what that issue is. This pipe is smoking better than the Dr. Grabo, though. It's smoking better. And both the Dr. Grabo and Kaywoodie's, technically speaking, are drugstore pipes. I'm enjoying my smoke. Now, would I say that this pipe is smoking better than my Savinelli? Or better than some of my Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes? I wouldn't say that it's smoking better, but I would say that it's smoking about the same. That's just how good this smoke is. It's smoking great. I can definitely tell. I definitely see why the Kaywoodie Campus line of pipes has such a good reputation for being good smokers, because frankly put, this is on the same level as my Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes and as my Savinelli Bing's favorite. It's a good smoker. Age, though, for sure. Doesn't have an effect on how good or how bad a pipe smokes. Has an effect on how good or how bad a tobacco will smoke, sometimes, depending on circumstances. But for the pipe itself, you could be smoking, no joke, you could literally be smoking out of a clay pipe from the Civil War, from the American Civil War, and everything would smoke just fine, because it's just a pipe. It's a tool to use to smoke tobacco out of. It doesn't degrade over time, especially clay. Wood, if you leave it in a bad environment, a humid environment, it will degrade over time. But clay, it's clay. You unearth it at a Civil War battle site or something like that kind of thing, or a Civil War campsite or something like that, and well, all of a sudden you now have a new free smoking pipe that's like 150 years old or something like that kind of thing. I've actually seen a couple claims online from people saying that they've smoked out of pipes that are 150 years old. Both clay pipes from like the Civil War and not, I want to say, as well, which is just absolutely wild to me. But it makes sense as long as the pipe is in a good environment for a good amount of its life kind of thing. There's no reason for it to degrade. There's no reason for it to smoke badly or anything like that kind of thing. It's a pipe. It's not a perishable good by any means, unlike tobacco, which is to an extent a perishable good, although it will stay better than a lot of other perishable goods. But it does depend on what you keep the tobacco in. I think this has gone out, though. It has indeed gone out. And if I had to guess, most of the top layer is probably now ash. Something we're probably getting pretty low on into the pipe. I want to make sure I don't pull any hot dawdle through or anything like that kind of thing, get any Scooby snacks. That would not be very fun, frankly put, but I think we've probably got another couple minutes of smoking, if I had to guess at least. But the bowl itself, for sure, heating up a little bit more so than not. I'm just smelling this. It's a mix of, oh, I think I was sucking some of that in my nose while I was trying to just smell it. It's just wafting it instead. But I'd have to say the smell, I am feeling a little bit buzzed. Tobacco's getting me pretty good. But the smell is very much that of a mix of like Capstan Blue and old pipe smell. Like this smells like it's been sitting in someone's garage for a while. It doesn't really taste like that, but you can definitely smell that. But after a couple smokes, I have faith that that's gonna go away. Let's go and get this relit once again though. This pipe is a really good clencher as well. It is a really good clencher. It's just so light. It's such a light pipe. It's just so easy to clench. Like, I can clench this, but because it's so long, because it is, well, significantly heavier than this pipe, it does start to hurt my teeth after a while, so I gotta take a little bit of a break. But this, man, this is just such a good clencher. I like it. I like it. Like, does not hurt my teeth at all. The plastic is really soft, even though it's like, who knows how old? Even though it's like 45 years old, if not older, the plastic is really soft. Oh man. And I'm feeling buzzed right now. I am feeling so relaxed right now, so chill right now. Got a very nice, relaxing pipe tobacco head buzz. Oh, it's so nice. Definitely not more shallow draws, but definitely lighter draws are the way with this pipe for sure. With my Savinelli Bing's favorite, I can take really deep draws because it's so long and because it's filtered. With this pipe, short draws, not shallow draws, but just light draws are really what works best. Excuse me. Definitely getting a little bit of tongue bite in my mouth, definitely feeling the tobacco in my mouth and whatnot kind of thing. Not bad, just kind of feeling it. And I think we're nearing the end of the smoke. This pipe, I'm kind of having to baby it to keep it alive a little bit more so than not now. And that tends to happen a little bit more so than not towards the end of a smoke with a pipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and just baby it just a little bit and try to keep it lit all the way to the end. I say that, and there's probably gonna be another 10 minutes of smoke, isn't there? Well, it has indeed gone out. It has indeed gone out, so I just went ahead and tamped it down. I think I'm gonna get it relit one more time, and I think that's probably gonna be it. If I had to guess, we're probably almost done, if not pretty much completely done. So I'm just gonna get this lit up one more time, and then after that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know my final thoughts on my first experience with my new to me, my new used Kaywoodie Campus Briar pipe that's 45 years old and is from the 1970s. So after I get this lit up one more time, after it goes out, I'm gonna go and let you guys know my final thoughts and just how this pipe is as a whole. But I think y'all might already know what I think about this pipe. just a little bit more so than not. Let's go and get this all lit up though once again. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying. Lots of people doing yoga, let me tell y'all what. Although I think with the weather out here right now, that would probably be, if you're doing yoga outside, it would probably be considered hot yoga, frankly put. I don't really know what hot yoga is. I don't do yoga. The buzz is nice though. The buzz is really nice. I am enjoying it to say the least. This pipe, oh, it's smoking good. It's smoking good. I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely gonna have to be smoking out of this pipe a lot more in the future. Was whistling just a little bit, so just went ahead and tamped it down. I don't want to jinx myself. I don't got no wood by near. Oh, I do got some wood. So knock on wood, but make sure I didn't get a splinter. But no gurgling or nothing like that kind of thing. Even though I'm smoking a straight Virginia out of an unfiltered pipe. Straight Virginias do tend to have a little bit more moisture in them than not, and they do tend to make pipes gurgle more so than some other tobaccos from what I've heard. But no gurgling or anything like that kind of thing. And I think it has just gone out. Well, I think that's all I had to this smoke sesh. So I'm gonna go ahead and empty out the pipe. That's how the ash looks right now. It's pretty deep into the pipe. It is about that far down kind of thing. So all the way down to almost midway through this tamper right there, or roundabout right there. So for the size of the bowl, pretty far down if I do say so myself. Let's go ahead and just grab my little thing right here and let's just go ahead and just scrape that tobacco all out and see if there's really anything left, although I really don't think there really was. Let's just dump that out on the ground. There were, no joke, oh wow, yeah, no joke, like 3 or 4 bits of unsmoked tobacco, and that was it. I pretty much smoked the entire thing. Well, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and just clean this out just a little bit, just get everything else out kind of thing. Make sure that's all good. I'm just gonna go ahead and blow through it as well. And there we go, all good. No tobacco got stuck in it or nothing like that kind of thing as I was smoking. There was no gurgling from the pipe. Oh man, good smoker to say the least. Very, very, very enjoyable smoke I had today. This was a very enjoyable smoke. This is also a little bit of a shorter smoke than I would have had with the Capstan Blue out of my Savinelli Bing's favorite, 100% for sure. But what are my final thoughts on this experience? What are my final thoughts on the 1970s, the 45-year-old Kaywoodie Campus Billiard Briar pipe that I smoked out of for the first time today? What are my thoughts on it, and what are my thoughts on this experience? Well, as a whole, as I said at the beginning of this video, I really like how this pipe looks I'm a huge fan of how this pipe looks. I really like the length. I really like the weight as well. The weight of this pipe makes it really, really, really easy to clench. I can say that for sure, having actually smoked out of it now. I also really like the form factor of this pipe. It's just a little bit smaller than not, and the bowl is a little bit smaller than not as well, allowing for faster smoke sessions without wasting tobacco or anything like that kind of thing, which is something I really appreciate. And as a whole, this pipe also smoked fantastically, smoked just as good as my Savinelli Bing's favorite, smoked just as good as my Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes, and definitely smoked better than my Dr. Grabo from the modern era that I have at home as well. This pipe smoked fantastically. There was a little bit more roughness than I'm used to, just simply because this pipe is unfiltered, but that wasn't really a big deal one bit. There was also there was no gurgling at all. Actually, no gurgling at all. Really, the biggest issue I had with this pipe was it going out on me, but I think that was my own fault for not packing it in a style that this pipe really appreciates. I think I should have probably put a little bit in, packed it down kind of thing, and then let it kind of cement itself around the actual like hole down there and whatnot, because I was getting a little bit of a whistle the entire time I was smoking, and I think there was just a little bit of a gap between the hole and whatnot, just because I didn't pack it down very well. And I think that's part of the reason why I was probably going out a little bit faster and a little bit easier than not. But also I was smoking flake cut pipe tobacco out of this pipe tobacco. Flake cut pipe tobacco does go out a little bit easier, and that's just such a slow smoking pipe tobacco. But as a whole, no gurgling, very smooth for an unfiltered pipe for sure, especially for the size of this pipe. And the tobacco stayed lit pretty much as it normally does. It did. I do want to acknowledge it didn't go out any more than the same tobacco goes out in one of my Missouri Meerschaums or in my Savinelli Bing's favorite or anything like that kind of thing. Although I do think I can get better at that. I can definitely get better at keeping the pipe lit. But you know, as a whole, this pipe smoked really well, just as good as some of my new pipes and some of my expensive pipes. Well, actually my one only expensive pipe, because I only really own one, frankly. But I only own my Savinelli Bing's favorite, which is like my only expensive pipe. But yeah, I really like this pipe, to say the least. I really, really, really do like this pipe, and I am looking forward to smoking out of it a lot more in the future when I want a little bit of a shorter smoke sesh than not. And I think my plan for this pipe is to use it for, straight Virginia and Virginia Perique pipe tobaccos. That's my plan at least. And I intend on babying this pipe. It is, well, a very old pipe. Doesn't mean I need to baby it, but I want to baby it. I really like that. I like this pipe that much. And see if I can fix the overclocked stem, see if I can fix that. And because that was really the biggest issue with smoking out of this pipe today, really was the overclocked stem, just that I've got to hold it at an angle. Just made it a little bit awkward kind of thing, a little bit unweighted in my mouth and whatnot as well, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. I could definitely smoke out of this pipe a lot more in the future with the overclocked stem. Not a big deal one bit, but something to mention nonetheless. But you know, this smoked well. This pipe smoked really good. Looks great, form factor is great, weight is great, no gurgling, no dawdle coming into my mouth or nothing like that kind of thing. That's another thing to mention. Pipe stayed lit very well. The bowl did get hot, but not super hot by any means, not any more hot than expected by any means, especially for a pipe as thinly rimmed as this one. You know, as a whole, the Kaywoodie Campus Briar pipe from the 1970s that I smoked today, this 45-year-old pipe right here, it smoked fantastic, and it smoked better than one of my modern pipes, which is pretty wild to say the least. I can say for sure, having now smoked out of an older than not pipe for the first time, this was also my first ever time smoking out of an older than not pipe, I can now say, after having smoked out of an older than not pipe for the first time, when it comes to pipes, it doesn't matter how old or how young they are, they smoke well. As long as it's a good pipe to begin with, that is. If it's a bad pipe to begin with, it doesn't matter how old or how new it is, it's going to smoke badly. But as long as it's a good pipe to begin with, age doesn't matter. It's going to smoke well, it's going to smoke, or it's going to smoke bad. And it's just down to the pipe. It's not down to the age. Let me just put it that way kind of thing. And since this was a good smoking pipe when it was new, it's still a good smoking pipe now. I think that's a good way to finish off the video, in all honesty. As a whole, this pipe, solid 4 out of 4 for me. I would 100% buy another Kaywoodie Campus Billiard Briar pipe, or maybe even just another Kaywoodie Campus pipe in general, in the future if I saw one for sale at a antique shop, thrift shop, or garage sale near me. If I saw another one of these for sale, I think I'm gonna have to pick it up, as long as not in horrible, unrecoverable condition by any means. Well, yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have a Kaywoodie Campus Billiard Briar Pipe, or just a Kaywoodie Campus, or just a Kaywoodie in general, and let me know what y'all's experience has been with them. Have you guys had a good experience? Have you guys had a bad experience? As a whole, my experience was much better than others. I'm sure you guys can tell. Let me know in the comments down below how y'all's experience was as a whole, though, and let me know in the comments down below, even if you guys don't have this pipe, what you guys think of this pipe and what you guys think of what I described about it during today's video in the comments down below as well. I think that's pretty much all I had to say. Certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video, where I smoked out of a 45-year-old unrestored but cleaned briar pipe from the 1970s. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this video, and of course also make sure to like and subscribe. Get words all jumbled up. Of course, also make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my second channel, all in the description down below. Go check it all out. But thank you so much for watching, y'all. Till the next one, stay safe and peace, and have a great one. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying.